Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and all in between, to part 7 of The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante. When we last left off, it's year 1131, we're still in chapter 2 of Adolescence, and we're on Forbidden Love, so without further ado, let's dive straight in. Another day of school is behind you. You are now wandering your district, taking your time before going home. It is getting dark. Soon you are walking past the splendid mansion of Count El Velasco, one of Magra's richest landlords. You hear a familiar voice from the other side of the iron fence. It is Stephan's voice. It is followed by the sound of a young lady laughing. You peek through the fence and into the mansion's garden, and indeed, there you see your elder brother, dressed like he is going to meet the Emperor himself. He is currently busy helping a pretty young lady out of the window. She locks him in an emotional embrace. You recognize her, Maria El Velasco, Count El Velasco's daughter. And as the whole city knows, she is already betrothed to another young nobleman from a far more illustrious family. Oh dear, Stephan. Oh Maria, I thought I would help you come down to earth from your heavenly abode, but your very touch brings me to the heavens. He's an old charmer himself. He picks the Count's daughter up and holds her in the air. She laughs, almost imperceptibly, and kisses him on the cheek. But then Stephan takes her by the chin and turns her to face him. Their lips join in a kiss. A flurry of emotion washes over you as you watch it happen. Stephan is putting the reputation of his entire family at risk. Acting so frivolously with the Count's daughter may turn the Count's influence against the Brantes, and yet Stephan always speaks so highly of noble bearing and composure and family honour. Stephan's face is glowing with joy. Your older brother, he is happy, truly happy. You've never seen Stephan like this, as his arms hold the Count's daughter in a tender embrace so gently, as though he fears to hurt her. And Maria reciprocates his feelings. Must you really rob them of their secret joy? If you ever speak to him about this, no one else must hear it. You wait by the gate patiently until Stephan decides to return from his escapades. He is startled when he finally notices you standing by the gate. Okay, I mean, we're doing well with Stephan at the minute because we helped him rescue our sister. You know, do I want to keep it a secret and increase his reputation, or remind him what a nobleman's honor means? I think I have to go with the first option. I mean, I'm thinking long term here about our family. Yeah, I'm going to remind him what a nobleman's honor means. If Stephan keeps acting like this, he will bring disgrace upon the entire family. I'm sorry, Stephan. You fold your arms as you face your elder brother. He is confused to see you here. You speak to him openly. You know of his affair with Maria El Velasco, and Stephan should forget that young lady as soon as humanly possible. He freezes at these words. You keep talking. A noble cannot behave like this. Stephan is risking bringing shame on all the Brantes, and worse yet, he is defying his own lot and his own words. His honour, Maria's honour, the family's honour, it will all be harmed by his recklessness. How could Stephan have forgotten about this? How could he have let his emotions rule him? Why should you have to be there to remind a born noble about this? You, who were born a commoner. Stephan frowns, but lets you keep talking. You wait for his anger, but there is none. When you are finally done speaking, your brother stays quiet for a long moment, and then sighs heavily. Yes indeed, you are right. I lost control of myself. Maria, I am a madman in her presence. I forget the world when I am with her, and I forget my duty to my lot and my family. I will part ways with Lady El Velasco and offer my apologies to her father. My brother, thank you. You reminded me of who I am. I don't know if she should tell her father. Oh, that's interesting. From that day on, Stephan stops going out at night. His attitude towards you has changed a lot. He now looks at you with respect, as if he has finally come to see you as an equal. Even in his anger, he is now quick to recall your brave decision and stop himself. Oh, and nobility's gone up. Nice. Well, that worked out quite well. Stephan's disgrace. Event has happened. Nobility greater than 4. You found out about your elder brother's forbidden love. You know what's coming next, I wonder. We're doing quite well on the noble front as well, despite the fact that I'm not probably going to continue on that line. Trial of the assailants. Before long, the entire city hears how a gang of low-born thugs assaulted Stephan Brante. Grandfather ensures that the brash young men are found. Some of them are taken into custody as soon as lesser death releases them. Grandfather seeks vengeance on those who hurt his favourite grandson. Prefect Elborn, a friend of your family, promises to personally oversee this trial and ensure that justice is served. Stephan and Grandfather decide to stay in Anisot until the trial ends. Grandfather demands true death for every single assailant. Wow, Jesus. You ask Father to explain something. How can a legal court sentence criminals to true death? How can a worldly judgment overrule the twins' law? Your words are true, my son. Their law is second to none, yet the twin gods also made the empire in all its ways. The court of law exists to execute the laws of heaven here in the world. Should the court of law sentence a person to death, the law high above will always enforce it, and so every execution brings true death. The commoners who assaulted Stephan, a born nobleman, have committed a grave offence. There is no doubt about that. And yet, according to the Emperor's decree, even commoners have the right to defend themselves when they are about to face true death. This means that all of us will have to appear at the trial and testify before the court. Evening comes. Gloria visits your room. She looks crestfallen, and her fingers keep reaching for her long hair. You put away your school books and ask what is bothering her. The trial is tomorrow. I thought I was going to appear there too, as an eyewitness. After all, this whole mess started because of me, but Sir Robert isn't even going to mention that I was there. Can you imagine? He says it would ruin the case. Why am I always in the way? Nobody ever mentions me, nobody has to listen to me, it's like I don't even exist. And I thought Stephan standing up for me finally meant something. Maybe I will become part of the family. But no, everything is back to usual now. Gloria tries her best to hold back her tears. You do your best to comfort her. Father just needs to keep the family out of trouble. If Sir Robert believes that I only bring trouble, why did he take me into the house at all? Gloria runs away. You return to your books, but you can't help but get lost in thought. What if they told the court you weren't there either? How would you feel then? There is a knock at the door. It is Father. He closes the door behind him and sits next to you. There is an exhausted look about him. Son, you will be testifying before the court tomorrow. Please remember what I'm about to tell you. Gloria wasn't at the ruins at all. You went there with your brother to inspect this historic site. The low-born men insulted Stephan first and then attacked him. Stephan has managed to deal with the assailants on his own by the time the gods intervened. Gloria will cast suspicion on the case. If we mention her very existence to the court, the reputation of the family will suffer. Your grandfather will never forgive me if that happens. Do not let me down. We are all counting on you. Oh no. You recall the night of the fight like it was a moment ago. Gloria sprawled under the feet of those cackling thugs. Her poetry, her greatest treasure, scattered on the ground. She thinks she's all noble. Those were the words they spat down at her. But doesn't Grandfather mean the same thing when he denies that she's a part of the family? But if you do what Father tells you, the trial will end quickly. Those commoners will face true death for assaulting a noble. If you mention Gloria, things will get complicated and you cannot predict how the trial will end. Which is of more importance to you? What is right, or what is just? I can convince Father to change his mind because I've got willpower and we've got a good relationship. I could lie to Father. Or support Father. I'm definitely not going to lie to him. I mean, partly what wants to convince him to change his mind just because of the fact that we've unlocked it. But I mean, I don't know how the trial is going to end then. Something could happen to Gloria as well. It's a big risk. And it puts her family in danger. What is more important to you? What is right? Or what is just? Often not the same thing. I mean, looking at the character I'm playing, I'm trying to play a clergy, but not someone who follows the laws. I think, you know what? Convince. Oh god, I really want to convince him to change his mind, but I just think that that's so reckless. Oh, convince father to change his mind. You look father straight in the eye and tell him what you think. You are not going to bear false witness in court. He is a judge himself. How can he make you lie to Sir Elborn? And what of Gloria? Is she not a Brante too? Does she not deserve justice? Or maybe grandfather is right, and she is just a freeloader who deserves nothing but shame. If so, then how come father agreed to take her into his home and under his protection? Saying this to father is tough. Deep inside, you pray he hears no weakness in your voice and sees no blood rushing to your cheeks. But it seems like he is listening to you intently. The wrinkles on his forehead grow deeper as his fingers stammer out a staccato against the armrest. This is going to be tough, son, but you are right. You are right. I took Gloria into my home, and so I must protect her like my own daughter. This was my decision, and I must stand by it. I will speak with Stephan in the morning. Now I pray your grandfather never hears of my change of heart. Oh God, what have we done? The day comes. The trial takes place in the lesser hall of the city prefecture. Sir Elborn himself presides as the judge. You are the first to testify to the court. Like, this could mean the guys get off. Oh, anyway. You tell the court the truth about that night. How the thugs humiliated Gloria. How Stephan and you came to help her. And how Stephan defended his half-sister. Out of the corner of your eye you watch grandfather's face grow red. Yet he remains silent. There are confused whispers in the hall. The commoners on trial cry out, "It's the truth! Gloria was reciting poetry, and they simply told her she was defying her lot." The situation has changed. By this account, Stephan was not acting in defense of himself or another. He merely assaulted them first in order to retaliate against those who had insulted his half-sister. Oh dear. You spread your feet to stand firm and inhale before you speak next. You ask the hall, is it not a nobleman's duty to honour his family's name? Gloria does not have the Brante name, but your father took her into his home. Therefore it was Stephan's duty to protect her, as he would have protected any of you. Contemptuous chuckles rush through the courtroom. You've just reminded the city of father's shameful second marriage. Oh no. Stephan is to testify next. He reluctantly confirms your testimony, glancing at father and grandfather all the while. His arm is in the sling is his main argument. Stephan wanted the commoners to stop insulting Gloria, yet in the end the commoners were the first to assault him. After a short recess, Sir Elborn returns and rises to deliver his sentence. The court of Anizot finds you guilty of assaulting Stephan el Blante, a nobleman who stood in defense of the honor of Gloria, a member of his household. All 4 defendants are sentenced to true death by hanging. There is no wind, but you feel a gust sweep through the hall. The defendants turn pale, their mothers are bawling and crying. Everybody in the court feels the dreadful power of the law, and it is stern and just. That very power has been evoked by this sentence, and by that very sentence the lives of the 4 young men are literally forfeit for all eternity. The gallows await. Stephan stands in the front row, father stands next to him. The wood creaks, the trapdoors open under the young men's feet. They dangle in the air, wheezing and reaching out for support with their feet in their final moments. Grandfather's silence ends at home. He screams at you and father, at Stephan and Gloria. This trial is a disgrace. His screams are punctuated by the thudding of his walking stick against the floor. Father says they had to defend their family. It would have truly been a disgrace if they had shirked their responsibilities. Stephan excuses himself to bandage his arm in order to stay out of the argument. Gloria is quiet, but glowing. You stay quiet too. It is all over now. My grandfather hates me, which is great. It is all over now. Nobody bullies Gloria on the streets anymore. Those 4 commoners are dead forever. Their families were taught a cruel lesson. So will it be with anyone who dares to raise his hand against a nobleman. Our unity has gone up, but our family has dropped back to tarnished honor. Which is, I don't know, good and bad. I'd rather have honor, I think. But anyway. Nice, nobility's gone up again. And spirituality's gone up. I'm not sure why spirituality went up, but I'm not complaining. We're one away from soulful, and we're almost dignified. That went better than I expected. We still won the trial. I didn't think we would. (1132), 14 years of age. Agony. Stephan leaves soon after the trial, alone. Grandfather does not go with him. For the first time in a long while, he lingers in the house for more than a fortnight. Father says Sir Gregor is ill and needs rest. Several months go by, and it becomes clear that grandfather will not recover. The eldest Brante is mostly bedridden now. On some days he has trouble recognizing people. When he means to address you or Nathan, he calls you Robert, your father's name. But when he does get out of bed, the house grows empty. The servants hide. Mother locks herself in her chambers. You and Nathan run outside or hide quietly in your rooms. If grandfather sees anyone in the hallway, he begins lamenting. Oh, nobody heeds the lots anymore. Any harlot with a child can marry a nobleman these days. Children have no respect. His son betrayed him and let him down. And oh, how the Brante family has lost its honour. Again and again you hear grandfather knocking at mother's door, screaming that it is all her fault. He blames her for ruining his chances to find bliss in the hereafter. He blames her for dooming him to suffer at the foot of the pillar. You overhear your parents talking one night. Mother begs father to move Sir Gregor to his old home and spare the children his decline. Father refuses her outright. It is late at night. The hot, dry winds are coming. The house is empty, save for you, Nathan, Gloria, mother, and grandfather in his bed. Father has left for the capital on business. You are engrossed in the history of the Empire, snapping out of your reverie only when the clock strikes midnight. You blow out the candle and get ready for bed. You hear the shuffling of heavy feet outside your door. You see light in the hallway. Grandfather? What could he want in the middle of the night? You peek into the hallway once he has passed. Grandfather's figure sways as he heads for the door to mother's chamber. He opens the door and walks in. You hear him say something quietly. Your unease is stronger than your fear now. You sneak closer to hear his words. You foul commoner, I have to cleanse my sins. I have to save my soul. You are my greatest sin. You and what you have done to Robert and his family. I should have put an end to this marriage. I should have stopped Robert from taking this house by your presence. Why, oh why didn't I do it? Please, Sir Brante, I beg of you. Silence! You will do my bidding. Fire will cleanse all low-born filth from this place. Fire and flame will free Robert from this disgrace. This is for my son's sake, and for my sake. I need to eradicate this low-born filth. The twins, they are calling for me now. I can feel it. I beg of you, please. Have mercy. Mother begins to cry. You run into the room, unable to stay out of this any longer. Grandfather's gaunt figure looms over mother's bed. A lit oil lamp is in his hand. Mother is sprawled out onto the bed, crying. Please, just let me warn the children. I beg of you, Sir Brante. Your steps are loud enough to be heard. Grandfather turns to look at you. Stay out of this, Morgan. Be useful for once. Worldly matters concern me no longer. I see only my sins now, and a sinner I am. A sinner. The twins, they forgive no one. They will judge me by the pillar. I must do something. I do not want to suffer for all eternity. Go away. Oh God. Mother is crying. Grandfather is still looming over the bed, driven to madness. His hand shakes as it clutches the oil lamp. His eyes shine in the dark. He truly believes this has to be done. You are suddenly torn. What if he is right? What if that is the only way for his soul to find salvation? There is no going back now. You have but a moment to act. I'm not going to let it all happen as grandfather wishes. If he wanted to save his soul, he should have acted better in life. But the question is, do I run and rescue Nathan and Gloria? which means he's probably going to kill my mom. Or do I try and do this? If I do this, he might end up killing me though. Oh god, I don't know. I don't really want to die another death. Run away to rescue Nathan and Gloria, leaving our mother. I'm going to stop Grandfather. You run to Mother's side and snatch the lamp out of Grandfather's hand before he can start a fire. You look at Grandfather defiantly and step towards him. He stares you down with rage and throws the oil lamp at the floor. You manage to catch it, but just barely. Several drops of hot oil hit the rug, not nearly enough to start a fire. The lamp's glass is blistering hot. It burns your hands, but you still hold onto it safely. You low-born scum! You ruined everything! You're every bit like your mother! You! Enraged, he takes a swing and you squeeze your eyes shut, but he does not hit you. Instead, there is a deep exhalation. You peek at him with one eye, just in time to see him collapse, all his strength fading away. His chest is heaving, his face a grimace of contempt. Another heavy exhalation. The contempt is gone. There is only fear now. Grandfather's eyes open wide, almost in surprise. He exhales. His eyes grow dim. Mother is there, whispering a prayer. She is shaking violently. You put the oil lamp gently on the bedside table and call for the servants. They carry the body away. It does not disappear. True death has found him. He will never return. You spend the rest of the night with Mother in the sitting room. She will not let go of your hand. For many, many nights afterward, she keeps seeing Grandfather's shadow out of the corner of her eye. And Grandfather is dead. May he rest in peace. Father returns from Eterna the morning after. He is unusually composed as he arranges for the funeral. The house becomes quiet. Not the looming, heavy sort of quiet of the past few months, but the calm relief you all feel now that the crazed old man is no more. At last, Gregor Brante, the family's patriarch, has departed for the afterlife. My dignity has gone up, which is great. My ingenuity has gone up. I'm now bright. My willpower has gone down. We're doing really well with nobility, actually, quite surprisingly. We haven't really done much with ingenuity. That was intense. Grandfather's demise, year 1132. Your grandfather, Sir Gregor Bronte, left this world forever to meet the twin gods. Last respects. The night of Grandfather's death shook your family to the core. Yet no matter how it happened, your grandfather, Gregor Bronte, is dead and will never return. He was a fearful shadow looming over the rest of the family, the Brante patriarch exerting his influence on all the lives below him, and all of you will remember him forever. Father is the new patriarch of the family now, yet he cannot bring himself to sit at the head of the table where Sir Gregor used to preside. Stephan locks himself away in Grandfather's bedroom every day. He will not talk to anyone. Gloria and Nathan still jump at every sound that so much as resembles the knocking of his walking stick. Mother spends all day in prayer at the temple. And yet the house has become calm and quiet with his passing. But there is one more thing that must be done, the final farewell. It weighs heavily upon your soul. The day comes to pay your final respects. Father goes to the tomb alone, save for Stephan, Nathan and you. Mother and Gloria stay at home. Only nobles, or those who may become nobles, may join this ritual. There is a solemn silence as you walk to the crypt. Father is the one who breaks this silence when you finally reach the door of the family crypt. Your grandfather built this crypt, and now he will be the first Brante to remain here in body forever, the first ever noble in our family. It is our duty now hold to the sacrament of flowing blood for Sir Gregor. We will honour his legacy and join him as the founder of the noble Brante dynasty. Stephan perks up at father's words. His hands still clutch grandfather's sword. Tradition decrees that it must remain in the niche above the owner's sarcophagus. Nathan, on the other hand, looks even more frightened now. Stairs carved of white stone lead you downward. Deep in the gloom of the crypt, atop a pedestal, you see the sarcophagus that holds grandfather's body. Father takes a moment to compose himself before paying his final respects. Gregor Brante, my father, brought our family into nobility through his unshakable will. He was a judge and a loyal servant to the Empire. He lived his life as if he had been born a noble, and he never strayed from the path he had chosen. He sought to make the Brante family ennobled by the sword, so that our children's children might be of noble birth. The twins know I abided by my father's words all my life, even if I could not obey him every time. Father lets off a bitter chuckle as he says this. Stephan glares at Father, then turns to glare at Nathan and you. After all, the two of you were born of Father's shameful decision to marry a commoner. All of you remember his disastrous passing. He will not die the true death he deserved, yet we must all know that he fought for the future he believed in, to the very end. All he would be proud to see his family bid him farewell with his sacrament of the nobility. Stephan still glares at Father sullenly. His fingers remain clutched around Grandfather's sword. Nathan barely pays attention to the words. He looks around with unease, his arms folded across his chest. Father reaches into his jacket and pulls out a slender dagger, thin and sharp. He takes off his gloves. Watch me carefully, my sons. Make a small cut on the palm of your hand and let your blood flow into this duct on the wall of the crypt. It will join your grandfather's blood here and flow forever. Then ancestor and progeny will become as one. We shall all enter our family's blood tide and receive grandfather's final blessing, for his blood flows first in our blood tide. He will respond to you. You are part of him and he is part of you. With a quick motion, Father slices his hand and holds the bleeding cut above a small opening in the wall. Then he hands the dagger to Stephan. Stephan cuts his hand without hesitation, and does as Father did. You receive the dagger next. The dagger's handle feels warm. You hesitate for a moment as you look at the palm of your hand. If you participate in this ritual, you will enter the Brante blood tide. You, a low-born child, a child who is still a commoner. Are you ready to claim your legacy as a descendant of the nobleman Gregor Brante? The eyes of your father and brothers are upon you. Nathan, the youngest brother, will follow your example. You can be certain of this. Oh wow. God, I got very lucky with that. If my nobility wasn't greater than 6, I wouldn't be able to do this. I couldn't bleed because I don't have that. Okay, let's ask for grandfather's blessing. He wouldn't want to give our blessing, we know, but... You grasp the dagger firmly, then quickly drag the blade across your palm. The fresh wound burns on your hand. Yet before you allow your blood to join the blood of your father and elder brother, you ask your late grandfather aloud, will he give you his blessing to become a part of him? Will he allow you to join the Brante blood tide? You hear Stephan's indignant sigh. He does not say a word, however. Your words are a token of respect for grandfather and his will. Should you obtain his blessing, Stephan will not defy the late Brante patriarch. Then, suddenly, you all freeze. Each of you hears your grandfather speak to you. His voice is loud as it rings in the depths of the crypt, and yet he speaks to each of you separately. You had the courage to ask for my blessing. Well, so be it. You deserve an answer. To me, you are not incorrigible. You are half lowborn, yet you may make a worthy nobleman one day. I shall allow you to join my blood tide. But know this, I will be watching you always, and my shadow will follow you forever. Do not let me down, boy. Wow, I really wasn't expecting that. Grandfather's voice falls silent. You glance at your father and brothers, astonished. Save for Stephan, everyone else is dumbfounded as well. You have grandfather's blessing. You hold your hand above the opening in the wall. Your blood drips into the duct and flows further into the crypt as it combines with the blood of your father and brother. God, I can't believe that. We're so lucky to have our nobility up like that. Nathan's turn comes. Your younger brother hesitates. Father offers him help, but Nathan shakes his head. Finally, he makes a cut, and Nathan's blood mixes with yours in the duct of the crypt. The ritual is complete. Stephan reverently kisses the crypt of grandfather's sword and places it in the alcove above the sarcophagus. Once all is done, you leave the crypt together. Nice, we maxed out our father's relationship. Cool, fresh wind blows in your face as you return to the surface. Father stops halfway to the carriage and hugs Nathan and you briefly. Now your blood belongs to the dynasty of Sir Gregor Brante as well. And Stephan likes us even better. Nice. Blood tide event has happened. Participate in the ritual. Nobleman's sacrament, I didn't have that, and I didn't have a greater relationship in N2, but we were able to do it because of our nobility. You joined the blood tide of the Brante family. Wow, I'm quite happy I could do that. So, I'm going to leave it there. I really hope you enjoyed this video. This game is just going from strength to strength in my opinion, and I'm really enjoying how it's all playing out so far. I hope it continues this way. So, I will see you in the next video, and take care and have a nice day.